He picks up a bus and gently puts it back down to go over to Central Park and eat some fish. You know, even if Blue Oyster Cult had done the entire soundtrack for this film, it couldn't have sucked harder. Here's your Dan Rant Show, folks. Greetings, and welcome to another episode of Film Rants. I'm your host, E. Adamba Tamakos. At least that's how John Travolta pronounces it. Tonight's film is especially painful for me. Mainly because when I watch it, this happens.
Very clever.
I am speaking, of course, of Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin's 1998 attempted homicide of all things kaiju, the infamous remake of Godzilla, starring Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, and Maria Pitillo. Now, unless you live under a rock, you already know what this shitfest is all about, so I'll spare you the crappy synopsis. Instead, before I go into all the reasons I hate this movie, I'll tell you what I like about it. Hank Azaria. That's it. The film's only redeeming quality is the guy who does the voice of Homer Simpson. Even Harry Shearer, who usually I really like, is a colossal disappointment in this film, as he bumbles through as a cartoonish newscaster, so unlikable and buffoonish, he makes Tom Tucker look like a Pulitzer Prize winner. Hank doesn't save the film by any stretch of the imagination, but he does serve to at least make about 13 minutes of it marginally less unbearable. Look, I'm not going to lie and say that this is the worst movie ever made. It's not, and casual viewers who have no particular interest in the long run of Japanese Godzilla movies usually like it well enough. But from the standpoint of someone who grew up with Godzilla, and who has been a fan for about 4 decades, yes, I'm that old, fuck off. This movie is a blob of rancid anal polyp pus. First off, as talented and likable as Matthew Broderick is, he has no business being a lead actor in an action-oriented monster movie. The fact that the part he played was written for him from the get-go is proof positive that the people who made this film were colossal douchebags. Roland Emmerich admits he never even liked the original Godzilla films, and only made this movie because he was told he could do anything he wanted with it. Who the fuck lets a director who doesn't even like a franchise direct a big-budget version of it? Are you fucking kidding me? You could have had James Cameron, Jean de Bon, or hell, even Tim Burton, all of whom were attached to this project at one point or another, and all of whom would have made a 2 billion times better film. But instead, you let Emmy and the Devil brutally fistfuck for 2 hours with a shoddy remake of The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, using the name Godzilla in vain. Now, I could go into great detail of everything wrong with this movie, but let me just focus on the most grating and unavoidable fail on this fail boat. Godzilla himself. First of all, it ain't Godzilla. It's a big lizard, yeah, but it ain't Godzilla. He doesn't look like Godzilla any more than a plate of spaghetti looks like a brand new Mercedes-Benz. He doesn't act like Godzilla. He spends most of his time running away from tanks, planes, and other military weapons like some kind of reptilian Sir Robin from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He has no flame breath. He blows shit that's already burning to make himself look cool? I don't know. It's more like he's just trying to get a barbecue started. He doesn't even die like Godzilla. 4 Sidewinder missiles, bringing him down at the end of the movie? The real G had to be fucking dissolved by an oxygen destroyer in the first film, and the badass motherfucker still came back and kicked ass for almost 30 more films. I mean, holy fucking Christ on a rocket-powered pickle! This so-called Godzilla is a bigger wuss than a cat being chased by a water pistol. God, I hate this fucking movie. The special effects themselves were barely passable. Jurassic Park was far better, and it was made 7 years earlier. I'm not saying they were bad, but you know they're cheaping out on the effects when they try to hide every single effect shot with a massive rainstorm. The acting? It was okay. But most of the characters are poorly cast and wholly irritating. This movie was not directed. It was perpetrated. And if there was any justice on this planet, Emmerich and Devlin would be doing hard time in a Hollywood prison with the fuckheads that re-edited the original cinematic versions of Dune and Blade Runner. Before I have an aneurysm, let's whip out my huge throbbing rantometer. Artistic? 0, because there's really no artistry in this film. It looks like every other 90s CGI action film, only worse. Cool factor? A 1, and that's for Hank Azaria. Yo. Or should I say, do? Or originality? I'll give it a 2 just to be nice, and because the Baby Godzilla sequence inspired Robot Chicken to do a really funny-ass Godzilla on ice bit. Suck factor? Boom, bitch! I give it a full-on 5, because this movie is a fucking shitbag fuckhole cunt muffin. Final score, a -2. Still better than it deserves, to be perfectly honest, and this means I actually liked Sharknado better than I liked this disaster. Now, let's just take a look at what some of you think of Emmerich and Devlin's Godzilla. So thank you for commiserating with me on this episode of Film Rants. Let me know what movies you love that everybody else fucking hates, or tell me about movies that you hate and everybody else you know inexplicably loves, and I might even feature some of your comments on the show. You can comment on this video or tweet your pics on Twitter. You can also put them up on Facebook and Google Plus using the hashtag FilmRantsEAT. And keep in mind, we are doing a huge premiere this week, tomorrow night in fact, Thursday night, May 15th, for the premiere of Godzilla 2014. I have high hopes for this movie, and I hope you do too. I want to see your comments. Just use that hashtag, FilmRantsEAT, and I'll be able to find them really easy. So, from all of us at Angry Men Reviews, and from me here at Film Rants, and of course my lovely executive producer who's still getting over the flu, thank you, Drew. Good night, and don't ever subject anyone you love to this film. God, it sucked.
Direct hit, but the target is still moving, sir. I'll circle around and fire again!
We gave you jerks $150 million to remake Godzilla, and you gave us a steaming pile of crap! Again! Yes!